Well, hello, and welcome to Front Porch Radio. My name is Julie Wilder, and I'm fresh from a trip to California. That's right, Northern California to be precise. Um, yeah, brought back lots of memories and made some new ones, and was just reminded how much I really love good fresh food, you guys. Um, yeah, so much has happened in that region, and one of the things that I love about it is wherever you go, wherever you walk, there is just food from the wild blackberries and apple trees and fig bushes and just food everywhere. Like if there was an apocalypse, you want to be in California because there's plenty to scavenge. And it is and has been an incredible region. I mean, I forget what the statistics are, but California is, basically serves, majority of the produce for, I might be exaggerating, but it's a significant portion of the food for America. And, um, I went there, oh gosh, how old is Max? So it must have been 16 or so, 17 years ago. I was, running Dandelion at the time, and Kathleen Blake and Melissa Kelly, who were both associated with Primo and just fantastic women. They came into Dandelion and they were like, "Look, we're part of this women's chefs and restaurateurs group, and we just want to let you know what it's about." And there's all these cool scholarships, and they just kind of wanted to let me know about it, which I thought was really awesome because I didn't really consider myself like a real it was for women chefs and restaurateurs, which was cool because I didn't consider myself a chef. I was definitely more of a gathering person, a community, rallier, and I just happened to really appreciate good food. And so anyway, that led to a internship at Greens, which is one of the I think it might be the oldest vegetarian restaurant in the United States. It was started by a group of Buddhists that came over. I'm not sure what country they came over from, but they established a farm, the Green Gulch Farm, and they also established um, basically like a Buddhist program as well as a restaurant to serve vegetarian food. And that turned into just a classic, timeless, delicious, like direct farm to table relationship between their farm and the restaurant decades ago, back in the 60s. And yeah, just Annie Somerville was the chef when I was there, and she's probably still there. I have the cookbook. Griddle cakes are my favorite. Anyway, it was delicious food, and it also happened to coincide with the very first slow food conference in America. And this slow food is essentially a movement that started in Italy when McDonald's tried to be like, we're coming to Italy. And the Italians were like, whoa, 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 la dolce vita, or however I don't know how you say it, but they were like, no, 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 we like the slow life. We don't like the fast food. We want to. So it started this whole, because they could feel like the fast food life from America trying to infiltrate Europe. And so that started this entire movement about essentially defining like food cultures and food traditions and, heirloom seed traditions and the pleasures of the table and, you know, recipes that have been handed down and traditional food methods of preparing and growing food and talking about fresh food and farming practices. It was like this entire uh, thing. And so I happened to be there at the same time, and it was happening a lot. The conference was at Fort Mason, which is right next to where Greens was, and so Greens is at Fort Mason, which is right on the ocean, and they would have like the windows open, and oh my god, the temperature there is just absolutely glorious at almost all times. uh, Coming from Florida, well, I was looking at the Florida heat wave going on, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm in Northern California right now. Anyway, it was this incredible experience of tasting like really fresh food. And I just remember thinking, even though I had a really popular restaurant that served delicious food, and I still say to this day, one of the reasons that our food was so good was because almost every single restaurant orders from Cisco, which has so basically you're using the same base ingredients for your product. And I was using all organic ingredients, but I was also using ingredients that mainstream places wouldn't be using. And I'm sorry, but there's a flavor difference most of the time. And so it really was more based on the ingredients. But even with that, back in those days, I was at Dandelion from 2006 when it opened to about 2016 when I left. And the farm to table movement was really starting to take roots during that 10-year period, thanks mostly to Kathleen Blake, who I mentioned earlier, who was like, hey, she was talking to the guy from, I think, the Lakewood, the chicken place. I'm so sorry, I can't remember her name right now. Anyway, she bought her first cow and was like, let's do this, And so it became, this movement. And now we have a lot of farm to table stuff going on. And we have some really cool, co-ops and food co-ops and farm co-ops and things like that. And there's, of course, you pick places and things like that now that are much more popular than they were just 10 years ago, which is really, really awesome. And just mad props to Kathleen Blake for helping kick that off. But yeah, the slow food movement is something that has been essentially going since the 60s out on the West Coast. And I've actually read about oh, God, I can't believe there's two women chef or restaurateurs that really were behind a lot of the the impetuous for relocalizing and appreciating local food and all that different stuff. And one of them was a West Coast Philly girl, and the other was California. And I'm forgetting. I've read their books. This is what happens when you get old. I'm turning 47, I think. Let me just tell you what, you guys. The memory is bad. The memory is bad. I'm gonna have to come up with it. Anyway, both of them are just incredible women that recognized the joy of celebrating local food, and started naming like, okay, this is from this region. Like the bay they got the oysters or whatever it was. And so it really was a true celebration of the local place, the local fishmonger, the local bread baker, all of those different things, and really, made kind of regional food a thing. And then that spread out from both coasts. And even it was Judy Wicks on the West Coast from Philly. She had white dog cafe and black cat fair trade shop or something like that. But she was also Judy Wicks was also responsible for helping to kind of establish the fair trade movement in the United States. And she was also, if you read her book, she was also one of the original founders of Urban Outfitters. And her jerk of a ex-husband did what jerks of ex-husbands do, and she never saw a dime from that business. But she was just like one of these like crazy, amazing, just visionary people who lived in Philly and who started that movement out there. And then one day, maybe any second now, I'll remember who the West Coast lady was. But yeah, I mean, just really amazing things. And I was there. I spent most of the time in Petaluma, where one of my dear friends from back in the days, man, we went to UCF together. And another one of our roommates from college was there too, and another friend of ours as well, because I went to UCF. We graduated 2001. And then all of my friends from that group slowly moved out to they all moved out to basically LA or San Francisco. And they've all stayed because it's delightful. It is delightful out there. And I've just gone to visit several times, and it's been great. But um, anyway, the one friend ended up in Petaluma, which is where it's just outside of San Francisco, I was kind of like saying, well, DeLand is to Orlando, like Petaluma is to San Francisco. And so it's this cute little town on the outside, really like down to earth kind of people, not, not like, some of the wealthier parts where people are too pretentious, but it's just like a really down to earth kind of place. And there's actually quite a few really cool companies that have formed there, or have the headquarters there. Amy's is one of them. And so it's just like really down to earth people, a really cool little town. I think that the guy who invented the egg incubator is from there. And so they're like the egg basket, I guess, of Northern California. So lots of hatcheries and things like that. And of course you have the redwood forest right there. You're like an hour's drive from everywhere. It's a really great little town, and basically made me want to move. Y'all, I'm not, I can't move. I got a kid in high school, but man, I just was like, man, if I could be surrounded by we stopped at a strawberry you pick farm, and I was like, now I have to retire strawberries because these are literally the best strawberries I've ever had in my life. They were so sweet and delicious. Yeah. So good food, and good friends and good times. And, I just was reflecting a lot on, these are people that I've been friends with. I mentioned, I think I'm turning 47. We had to Google it because I can't do math anymore. And I once you hit like 40, after 40, you're like, I lose count. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter because it's the age inside. um, but you've got young people. We're at a college radio station here, and some of those people that you're hanging out with right now, like they might be your people for the rest of your life. And certainly um, Tiffany and Maggie and my friend Sunny and Joy and that whole crew, like we've stayed friends this whole time. And Tiffany and Maggie and I, we were all roommates, and so we get together try to get together at least once a year, and just watch each other's kids grow and all that stuff. But there's something to be said for people that have witnessed you your whole life. And basically your life starts when you leave the house. Um, because I don't know, there's just a bond there. There's just a feeling of home. And then, the people who like knew you back when you were, Tiffany and I joke all the time. I was a registered Republican sewing an American quilt when I got to college. Literally sewing an American quilt, which, as you know, I'm very opinionated and have political views that are very progressive at this juncture. And so I still claim the American flag, but basically, when we went to vote, we were like 18 years old, and it was Bill Clinton versus George Bush Sr., I think. And she was like, "You're voting for Bill Clinton, and you'll thank me later," because I came from this like Rush Limbaugh household. And I did. And, of course, I do thank her later. But it wasn't very difficult to, look around me outside of my parents' house and go, oh, that's not how world is really, And so, yeah, it started me on that journey. But yeah, there's just something about people that you've known forever. And I just cherish those people that have known me for so, so, so long. And you know, we were talking about, one of the things we were reflecting on is just, just the people who love you. And I don't even, we all have imperfections, right? Quote unquote, perceptions of imperfections, or we're not perfect people, clearly. And we all have our quirks and our weird oddball things that we're into. And that's the one thing that I just truly, the people that I see consistently being the ones that I can count on, are the ones that just accept you for all of your quirks and don't make lists or judge you. And yeah, there's just so much of boundary setting and da da da, which is all very, very good. I'm all about it. And there are certainly people I have set boundaries against. But also there's just sometimes it can go a little bit overboard. bit overboard. Just let people have their weird moment or say the weird thing, like we can't be, I'm not a big fan of cancel culture, even though I am a big fan of doing and saying the right thing. But I take like the Mr. Rogers approach of like just really like, giving people dignity and promoting what's right more than I'm shaming what is wrong. Of course, I'm human and I mess that up too sometimes because sometimes you're like, what is going on? It's crazy out there. But being with your people is important. And I don't know, if you're listening to this, maybe you should call a friend that you haven't talked to in a while that has known you forever and just see how they're doing. See what's going on, what's shaking, if you will. Anyway, I'm going to play California Dreaming because I feel like in that mood. All right, every once in a while, you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? California Dreaming by the Mamas and the Papas. Anyway, I think one of the things that was interesting for me, hanging out with my people, from back in the day, like I'm my old grandma or something, which I could be. No, not yet. I mean, technically, but no, we're gonna wait for at least 5 to 7 years for that. Maybe longer, 5 to 10 years to be a grandma. But that's weird, y'all, that I'm like, oh, I could be a grandma one day. But no, seriously, going back to things, is I was part of that generation where like the women were not, were overlooked for their neurodiversity. And so I'm like one of these late diagnosed, ADHD people, which the clues were there if I had really understood exactly what ADHD is, which I trust me, if you haven't looked into it, you have no idea, because I also had no idea. Like there's like this idea that you have in your head of somebody that's hyper and can't sit still. And it's usually a guy. And yeah, ADHD is so much more than that. And I have had, it's been, like, I think maybe it's been 2 years now since I was diagnosed, and have been taking medicine for it. And I mean, it is wild, the difference. And being able to observe myself on the medicine, off the medicine, in situations that, like I'm dating a new person. This is the first time I've been dating someone since I understood I had ADHD. This was, I think, the first, maybe the first trip, to see my high school gals since I understood I had ADHD, and, am in, and take medicine for it. And it's so interesting to observe myself and understand like the difference, because I'm, typically, I'm an herbalist. I like, I'm all into all natural and organic and all of these different things. And so my first thing isn't pharmaceuticals. My first thing is natural methods of trying to heal things. But it had gotten so bad, after, I think I also had leaky gut. And so I was like inflamed, and it was very similar to what I hear like people with long COVID have, just chronically fatigued, Alzheimer's, like, cognitive abilities, and, all kinds of things. So I had essentially a health crisis that made it so that I couldn't ignore some of the cognitive stuff that was going on. And I was like, I don't care. Just give me the medicine because I don't like it. At least if I take the medicine and it does help, I can try to find the natural, alternative that would do good. And, and I take a really low dose of, basically Ritalin, in order to navigate the, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just like so night and day, because I was always walking around with, like, I call it my riptide, ping pong brain. And so, so just would have a hard time holding my attention on something because my mind would be, taking me somewhere else, or I would be totally sucked in, to whatever was going on. But I never had that like hyper, like physical hyperness that I had thought of. But I was, the hyper part was my mind, right? It was just like a boom, 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 boom brain. And so everything was, driven, all of my life was centered around trying not to lose the thread on something. And so I would have to, cause I would just forget. I'd be like, I got to do this now, or I will forget. I got to do this now before I forget. I got to do this now before I forget. And so it becomes, something where like, things that are important, like, I don't know, taking out the trash, was one thing that I never noticed because when I was around the house, I was always trying to remember, oh, what am I trying to do next? What am I trying to do next? What am I trying to do next? And it was this like struggle my whole life. And so I had all of this tension that had been built up in my body that seemed baseline. It seemed normal to me. It was just totally normalized. And after being on the medicine, I'm like, wow, I first of all, I can remember things all the time. It's not a problem, so I'm not driven by this urgency of not of forgetting something, or worried I'm going to forget something, or absolutely forgetting something and then feeling bad and then trying to do that. And so it's been just this completely different way of orienting myself, and recognizing, wow, like this whole dopamine deficiency thing can cause all of these other things to happen. Um, and it's real, like, and I, one of my friends on vacation was like, oh, we're all on the spectrum. And I was like, well, that's true and not true because, yeah, I get the spectrum of, cognitive abilities. I understand that, but like having a dopamine deficiency is a very real thing. And, it is fixed by taking medicine to support that. And then all the other things fall in place. And so I was essentially like walking around completely inflamed, like because of the level of stress I was always under, which seemed completely normal to me. Like I didn't understand that there was even another way to be. And now it's like, oh yeah, I'm not worried I'm gonna forget something, so everything is just so much more chill because I remember it, because I'm on the medicine. And so even if I'm not taking it every single day, it's like 40 years of stress of trying to remember. So, it was really the memory stuff for me, was like the stress of that is just gone because I can remember to do things. So that way I can be focused and in the present. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can just do things in the morning that people do, like fix breakfast and, put on some makeup and think a little bit more about my outfit and, things like that. Whereas I would be like, oh, I can't remember, I can't forget I have to do this. And so, I would only get like two of those things done and, brushing your teeth, which was the basics, and then I'd have to be rushing off to do the thing. And so now it's just a completely different lifestyle and I can enjoy my time more. I can be more relaxed. I can, um, be present. I can just be in the moment and it's just such a delightful thing. And it makes me think because, being with my basically college girlfriends, and we were roommates. And so we saw all these different kind of quirks with each other. And I was always the one who was like the TMI girl, because I would have these, like, I didn't know, like, other people, I just thought everyone's brain was doing the same thing my brain was, and other people just knew not to say everything out loud. But I didn't have, like, a filter, and so I was, I do in, like, general public, but around your close friends, you're just like, your your weird goblin comes out, and so, they were all like, "TMI, Julie, TMI," but I noticed this time, like, there was maybe one time I was, like, a little bit TMI, um, but it was after 3 glasses of wine and my medicine had worn off, you know what I'm saying? And so it was just so interesting to see, like, how just, I don't know, regular you could be, and, the TMI girl, she can be fun too, but also, there's kids around. And you don't want to be TMI all the time. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just giving me, um, there's just a lot to think about in terms of if you have, one of the things that's really been in my mind about it is because, um, being like, if you are our boss, or if you're a parent, or if you're dating at all, any of these things, if you relate with people at all, understanding neurodiversity is like such a gift to yourself and other people, because one of the things I like, when I think about, I mean, I've been to therapy, I've been to couples therapy, I've done all of those things, and nobody ever was like, hey, does either of you have ADHD? What are your neurodiversity profiles? Because if it was understood what you're dealing with a essentially like a dopamine deficiency, and you could come at it from a neurodiverse informed perspective, then it is so much different. And it's a way to not excuse maybe behaviors that, especially in a close relationship, you're like, oh my God, this is so frustrating, because some people have time blindness, or some people are super like the opposite and like really need to be on time. And all of those are typically rooted in some sort of neurodiversity. And if you can kind of understand what is going on, strategies can be had for both people, but for all the parties involved to understand, okay, this isn't personal. And okay, this is something that's going on with me for this reason. And so here are some of the strategies that we can do to just make things smoother. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So we're going to do a bunch of shows on neurodiversity at some point in the future, basically. And I'm realizing I didn't take my medicine today, so I'm kind of all over the place. So you're getting a version of me just kind of riffing based on the fact that I'm in vacation mode, man. What do you want from me? But let's listen to some music, because I'm gonna pull myself together, and you guys can have a better situation. What do you guys want to listen to? Let's see. Let's go with some more California songs. How about that? I'm gonna play. You know what? I'm gonna play some Eagles, Hotel California, because I can, and I'm on the radio, and I'm in control. You ready? All right, we are back, and if you just tuned in, you're listening to Front Porch Radio on WPRK 91.5 FM. And I just met some new friends and an old one in the lobby here at WPRK. Welcome to the studio. Can you tell everyone your name?
Yep, my name's Nicholas.
Nicholas, all right. And you are DJ Katnick?
Yep, my name's DJ Katnick.
And Matt, you were here too. I can't see you because the screen's in the way.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, Julie? Awesome show.
Thank you.
Very interesting one, if I might say so myself.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I'm so excited. You guys are taking over the next slot from 5 to 7?
Yep, and it's about 4:30, right?
Hey, DJ Katnick, get right up on that microphone.
Like this?
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what was your in for? How did you know that you wanted to be a DJ?
Well, I kind of listened to a station from a DJ named Bob Kelly that he usually does on weekdays from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. On a station called WUCF.
Okay, yeah. Our rival station, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty of room for everybody in radio, right?
Right, and folks, I don't want to spoil too much, but we've got some good music coming up. We've got a jazz and some surf and rock coming up.
Yeah.
From 5 to 7. We've got some music from saxophonist and composer Paul Desmond from about 1924 to 1977. He died because I believe he had lung cancer from smoking.
Oh man, that happens. You got to be, careful to steer away from stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it happens. And he also played with pianist Dave Brubeck, which we've got some of his music.
A connoisseur over here. Wow. So how did you get into music?
I've been to music for most of my life. Basically, I really don't remember how I got into music. I don't remember what was my appeal to music, basically.
Well, what is the appeal now? What do you love about music?
It's actually hard to say. I just like music itself.
Yeah.
It
For
feels-
me, it makes me just have all different kinds of feelings. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm really bummed out and I want to feel happier. So I put on happy music, or I feel kind of bummed out and I want to feel more bummed out, which is weird. And so I listen to sad music, and it just really helps me with like my emotions. I don't know, but that's a very grown up answer, I guess.
I guess that's half me, half not me.
Yeah.
In a way, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. You can relate a little bit, but there's more to it.
Yeah, there's a
Wasn't experienced the super highs and lows yet, probably. Of life, of paying bills,
Yeah, I totally know. Now I have to tell you something.
Yes?
My daughter has been coming to WPRK with me since she was even younger than you are. And she is currently WPRK's youngest DJ, but I think you might be bumping her off of that claim.
Well, I'd be glad if I was.
Yeah, I bet. And she's going to be super happy to meet you. I can just tell. She's got a show before me called Girl Maxing. Her and her friend Nina do the show together, and they'll probably meet you sometime soon.
Oh, Daddy, what'd you say that our show was called?
Oh, I didn't. I just said you are DJ Katnick.
That you were... what was your DJ name again?
Oh, Clay Jark. I'm just the manager.
When it should be Jay Clark, your name is Clay Jark. So it'll work. And we've also got some music from the wonderful pianist, keyboardist, Herbie Hancock.
Oh man, this sounds like it's going to be a good show. What is the show's name?
He didn't name the show yet.
We haven't named it yet. Okay.
Nope, it just hasn't been named yet.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta. You don't have to wait till everything's perfect. You just gotta begin. Sometimes that's how I do things.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of doing it.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for it. A name will come. It'll probably just come, naturally when the time is right.
Yeah, right when the time is right, it'll come.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask Julie, DJ Katnick, what she's got going on and what brought her back to the radio?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Well, thanks for asking. Honestly, I had the show for 10 years, and then I took I think a 5 or 7 year hiatus or something like that. I don't know. But right before the election last year, I was like, oh man, I really miss WPRK. There was a lot that happened because the signal went off the air, and that's one of the reasons why I went off the air too. And I was like, oh, I live back in Orlando now, and I miss WPRK so much. And I decided to just kind of come in and check it out. And man, I don't know if you remember WPRK. Maybe you're too young, but it was totally different looking just a few years ago. And now it's like we came out of the basement and got in a really nice studio. So I just love college radio. I love talking to people. I love meeting new friends, just like you.
Yeah, my favorite part of doing this is sharing my favorite music with other people around the world. For anyone who's listening to WPRK, which used to be called Basement Radio, but they moved it up to the first floor.
I think we still call it basement. I mean, it's technically still in the basement. It just doesn't feel like a grungy basement anymore.
Yeah, and anyone that's listening,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just share my favorite music. I like talking.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can be a pain in the
Now,
talk.
Julie, where did you move to? I've caught your show recently once in a while, but I haven't kept up with all of it. Where'd you go?
Oh, I was in DeLand for a little while.
Oh,
Yeah.
like, Nicholas, what have I always said about DeLand?
Oh, it's got some decent ice cream shops.
It does.
I've
Definitely get
always been a huge fan of DeLand because I thought they kept things nice and medium and it's not run down, it's not overblown.
Yeah.
Winter Park, to me, at this point, completely overblown.
Yeah.
There's some nice things about it, but I mean, so DeLand has always kept that kind of perfect medium. I love it.
Yeah. No, they're great. And
Near the beach, Blue Springs,
Yeah.
train station, hello.
Santorini's Greek restaurant. Hello. Great. And they have a really good farmer's market.
Oh, we'll have to check it out.
Yeah. They have a great farmer's
Is
market.
it on weekends or a weekday?
Gosh,
Probably
it's
a
been
Saturday,
years.
but-
I feel like it's like a Friday night, maybe.
Oh, then we could come on
It's a
Sunrail.
night market. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sunrail. Yeah.
We'll do that.
Wait,
Thanks for
oh,
telling us.
So it's just north of Orlando. like, gosh, where is that? Above do you know where Sanford is?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So it's just north of Sanford.
Oh, so kind of like in the a little more in the DeBerry area.
Yeah, north of DeBerry, exactly.
Oh, north of DeBerry.
North of DeBerry.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's about a 45-minute drive from here, so it's not too bad. And Santorini's is worth it. The best restaurant in Central Florida, hands down.
Oh, okay. Santorini, is that on Woodland or somewhere else?
It's on Woodland, and it's a Greek restaurant. But like, don't think of your typical. I mean, yes, they have heroes and all of that, but like their salmon or even just their half chicken. Like, I don't go into a restaurant typically and be like, I would like the chicken, but man, it is like the best chicken I've ever had in my life. Like, they just know what they're doing. Like, something magical is happening there.
All right, that's a good tip.
If you want some good potatoes, you should go down to Barney's Coffee and Tea Company, because they've got some good potatoes. They've also got some good bacon.
You know your stuff.
And don't even get me started on the hot chocolate.
I bet you're a connoisseur.
I bet Paul Desmond would want to take a break at Barney's if he lived in Florida.
Yeah, he probably would, yeah.
They only have 2 locations, unfortunately.
Have you ever been to the Crystal Museum there? That is also really cool. I bet you would like it.
I don't think I have, actually.
Yeah, they have. It's just like it's like kind of like the size of the downstairs area here. And it's like in an old house, and they just have collections of really cool crystals and minerals, and it's just the coolest thing ever. And you can go in and it's free.
We'll check that out.
Yeah, anybody would love that, but especially I can tell that you have a fine taste for good things.
And Woodland Boulevard, speaking of that, they were smart enough. I hope they still have it. I haven't been there for a couple of years, but no turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes for a beautiful flow for that street.
It's a great place. If you guys haven't been to DeLand, you definitely should. But this was exciting because I was just out of town on vacation, and I didn't have a guest lined up for today. So I'm so glad I came outside and found you guys so that you guys could. This is what the Front Porch Radio is all about, like just spontaneous drop-ins.
Sipping lemonade.
Yeah, sipping lemonade.
Yapping away.
Lemonade.
Yeah, you got any good gossip?
What's a gossip?
I love you. This is great.
Well, you went to Petaluma, you said, when we were
did.
driving in. I've never been there, but I've heard of it. Sounds nice.
It's really beautiful. It really is. It's kind of like DeLand. Like I was just saying, it's like DeLand is to Orlando is what Petaluma is to San Francisco. And it's just real, like you said, medium, like not overdone. It's not like pretentious or anything like that, but it's also, doing well for itself. And man, the good food there too. Ooh, so good.
Tell me they don't wash the sidewalks. This is the newest. Have you seen that yet?
What?
Yeah, it's a new machine. Winter Park's fully in on it. Washing sidewalks. It's like a scrubber that you would see in a grocery store where they wax the floor at night when everybody's, and it's just shooting out millions of gallons of water. Like, if the sidewalk is slippery and dangerous, please clean it up.
Right.
Which makes everything worse, basically.
That's the latest trend.
I have to tell you that in Petaluma, I know this fun fact because my friends are like in construction. In Petaluma, everybody who owns the house is responsible for their sidewalk in front of it. And so actually the sidewalks are kind of jacked there because people are not, they don't want to fix their sidewalks because it's, so they don't have, and also in California, they wouldn't dare do that because it's a drought. And you can't. That's ridiculous.
And it's a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if it's got a pile of black tar or algae on it, hey, I'm all for let's clean this up, guys. But no, it's a whole I saw it on the campus today, too, so it's caught on. And that could just go on endlessly, right? Because the sidewalk just are everywhere.
Yeah. Someone's got to do
somebody eventually probably will, maybe over the water usage itself.
Yeah, the water usage itself is not good.
And if they have to use it, could they stop using chemicals?
I have a question. Does Winter Park have a curbside composting set up?
I think. Maybe.
Because if they don't have that, but then they're washing sidewalks, we have some beef to take up,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things like pretend recycling. I mean, I don't even want to get into it all, but the washing sidewalks.
Yeah.
First it was the blowers and the edgers. The edgers are edging a pile of dirt out onto the sidewalk. Then they come by with the blower. I mean, it's like, if you were growing tomatoes, putting forth that effort, okay, but it's like...
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm an idiot, so, you know.
No.
Tomatoes to make ketchup. Just get some off of the Kraft Heinz company. Get some Heinz tomato ketchup. I mean, I've tasted the ketchup. Got the best ketchup. But I don't care for mustard or relish or mayonnaise or anything like that.
Well, you guys are really setting up my next few shows really well. I've got somebody from O-Town Compost who's going to be on in a few episodes.
Okay.
And Evolving Landscapes, which is a native landscape company. Against the lawn even, you know. Let's plant some natives.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's worse than people just hurting the sidewalks. It gets worse, unfortunately.
not hurting the sidewalk. Although it does chip away at the cement and you need a new sidewalk. But yeah, the lawns, it's like, I mean,
But
I'm not a perfect evolved human at all, but the struggle I see people, and everybody's seen it, the struggle, people out there scratching their heads, spraying,
Right.
putting up the little plastic signs, which should be illegal.
It's just terrible.
You know, with a picture of a frog on it, the frog does not want all that stuff sprayed.
Exactly.
So St. Augustine, I don't get it. Sorry, you're the enemy. to me.
Yeah.
St. Augustine's the enemy, and it's worse that they poison the grass. Because the grass is actually near and dear to us in our hearts.
Hey.
Speaking of near and dear, it's near and dear to the deer.
To the deer.
Yep, it's dear and dear to the deer, I should say.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited for
Sometimes.
you guys' show because you are obviously a dynamic duo with excellent taste over here.
Yep, and I've got some people listening that at 5 o'clock.
Athens, Georgia.
Yep, and my mom is listening from Pennsylvania. She used to live in Florida, but all just had enough of being in Florida with the cockroaches.
Feel them so hard right now because I was like, man, I just came back from California. I was like, I just need to get out of Florida, man. It's so hot here.
Right, you land at the airport, you're driving down 436, and it's just boom.
I landed at 6 a.m. and it was 90 degrees out already. And
Well, you can't. That's a world record for the morning.
it was, yeah. And I had to prepare. There was a young lady and her mom sitting next to me. They were going to Disney World for her birthday. And I was like, listen, if it starts raining, that's actually the perfect time to go to Disney World because that's what the locals do when
I'm not gonna get on any rides though.
well, you just wear
You just wear your coat basically.
your
Some
poncho.
waterproof stuff.
Yeah, because it's too hot otherwise. I was like, you get on the line. The lines are much thinner when it's raining. So.
Oh, and while we're on the topics, you should make sure to definitely clean your ACs because if you have a smoke detector in your house and your AC gets dirty, that dust is gonna turn into smoke. I experienced that almost a month ago in Pennsylvania and just a week or two ago, just the day before I left.
Julie had just knocked out the next PSA for you. so-
Yeah, I know. This is great. What other wild wisdom do you have in there?
Well, I'm not the smartest person, but I know a lot of music. I know about the Rolling Stones, Ozzy Osbourne, and Black Sabbath. And later, I'm going to be mentioning about a top story with English singer and songwriter Ozzy Osbourne that not until about 5 or something we're going to mention. We're going to wait till then to mention.
Yeah, save the good content for your own show for
Yep.
sure.
In the meantime, we'll give you a little more sample of what we're going to be doing.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm really excited that you guys are starting your program right after mine because it's kind of been an empty slot for a little while here, and you guys are obviously gonna knock it out of the ballpark.
Oh, I'm definitely getting knocked out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
No, that was actually uncalled for.
I think it was perfect.
But doable.
I think it was perfect. But I do need to show you guys how to use the controls and refresh your dad's memory.
Oh,
'cause
sure.
he's
My
been here for a
dad's
little
going to
while.
be using the controls.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be speaking mostly.
Yeah, well,
and
for
telling
now.
him the music.
For now, and then I'm sure he can teach you eventually. It's not too hard to do.
Yeah. You
So
think?
we want to let you wrap up whatever you need to wrap
This
up.
is
Oh,
the wrap up.
okay.
Yeah.
All three for shucks.
Yeah.
I'll be on the air, and then he's going to be introducing, and he'll be here. He'll be introducing me at 5 o'clock. And he'll be putting the stuff in, but for the most part, it'll just be me talking. If you get 91.5 in your car, please do tune in from 5 to 7.
He's already a DJ. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess so.
super impressed. Actually, you should get together with Max and you guys can share notes about how to DJ and share it with the rest of the DJs.
Is that your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be really valuable. And what is her show? What do they have going on?
It's called Girl Maxing, and it starts at 3 on Mondays. And they usually pick a theme for like today. The theme was dark red, and so they play all songs from a theme. And they just have so much fun with it, and they also have great taste. So yeah, I'm super excited. Let's get signed off now, so that way I can show you guys how to use the buttons. And I'm just so excited. Welcome to WPRK, you guys.
Well, thanks so much, Julie. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you guys have been listening to Front Porch Radio from 4 to 5 every Monday. My name is Julie Wilder, and so glad new friends showed up outside because I was rambling for a second there. You guys have a good one and stay tuned. You're going to have magic next.